What up?
Yeah.
Sorry,
CeeDee Lamb,
I just went live.
4 receptions, 53 yards. Ferguson, 5 receptions, 48 yards. And Rico Dowd, 3 receptions, 25 yards. So overall, I think for the game, it was a decent game. But as you said at the beginning, the Cowboys started to crumble. Man, you let Josh Dobbs and a first-year coach in that team pick us apart.
Mm-hmm.
Which looked bad on us.
Right.
And I would have much rather have won that game and beat them down, or even won by a small point margin and lose this upcoming week. It's gonna be hard to go. If we go down two games, it's gonna be hard. Then we got the 49ers rolling in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's my take on it, man.
What was the question you asked me before I?
I was gonna say just general thoughts on the game in general, and what were your thoughts on it?
Remember, I was a little leery about this game. Remember, I kind of gave a closer score, even though I had us winning pretty easily, double digits. I just had a bad feeling about it, but I didn't want to put it out there, so I should just go with my gut. I should have just said, "Hey, we might. This is gonna be one that we might lose," but I'm gonna try and be honest now and go with the flow. That's my
Come
name.
on, man. Get your honest. You gotta be honest, bro.
No, I thought something could happen. Because Arizona, they've beaten us 6 out of the last 7. They just have our number. We just tend to take them lightly, especially lately. Kyler Murray has always played well against us, and Dobbs did the same thing. I don't know. It's just one of those things. You have one of those teams that just kind of have your number a little bit, and they just kind of have our number the last few years. And it just happens that we lost Diggs, and I think Diggs was an emotional loss for the team. I don't think Quinn adjusted his defense properly for the loss of Diggs. I think Diggs does a lot more than people think. I mean, people were saying, was Diggs going to make that tackle? Yeah, Diggs comes up and makes tackles. He does, in helping in the run when he needs to. And so he does a lot more that's behind the scenes that people don't really pay attention other than just being a cover corner. And so it was a big loss for us. I mean, it's almost as bad as losing Micah. Not quite as bad, but it's pretty close. And so I think Dan, it's just one of those games that it just had a bad feeling, and like you said, we always lose one of those games like that, and it just is what it is. I don't know. I had a bad feeling going into it, so I should have just put it out there in the ether because it's going to happen either way. It's not like it's a jinx because if I put it out there, then people said I jinxed them. But I mean, it is what it is. I thought it was going to be a close game and that we might lose it, but I don't know. It's just one of those games, and it's just the Cardinals seem to have our number.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're right. They've had our number in recent years. We can go back to the game again. When towards the end of the year, what was it, 2 years ago, when we were trying to get the number 1 seed, something like that, and Arizona just came in and mollywopped us really bad that game, and it was god awful. But they did a good job on offense as far as their game planning because, yes, like you said, Diggs was out, and Diggs usually does play a little bit closer in coverage with that. And, when it is a run play, he'll get off his man and he'll come in and help with run support.
He's good at recognizing those things better than you think, than people give him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they also ran the ball right at Micah Parsons. And that's really how you beat it. That's really how you beat him is you run the ball right at him. There's really nobody, there was nobody back there who could, cover, behind Parsons to kind of make up for that. But that's really all it is in the game plan. But, usually with teams that can run the ball well, even so, with the speed the Cowboys defense have, usually it doesn't work out. I mean, with Barkley, they shut him down. They shut down, the Jets running backs. But the speed Arizona has definitely made a difference in that game. And I know people are saying, maybe Stevenson can do that. Maybe Zeke coming back home can do that as well. But I think because these guys are much slower running backs, I think the Cowboys will be able to defend it a little bit better this week than they did last week. So, again, that they had a great game plan on offense. Dan Quinn didn't do a good job adjusting. Really not until maybe the third quarter-ish, and even still, he still let the big play behind you in the fourth quarter to kind of solidify that win. But And I really think that topped up with red zone offense is what really killed us in this game.
That's when you need Elliott. That's when you need a guy like Elliott to take that ball.
I mean, this is true, but I think they should utilize Lukey a little more. Is it Lukey?
Hunter Lukey, yeah.
Lipke. I think that's where you should utilize him a little. Him and Dak. Dak didn't use his legs. If he uses his legs in the red zone, I think that's key to a lot of things that we do. Because he can run it in that. He gets a good 10, 15 chunks at a time. Sometimes when he gets a good play going, when he gets a little run pass option and pulls it back. I mean, we need to do a little bit more of that. I know that he got hurt running 3 years ago, whatever it is, but that's part of his game. I mean, he's not the same guy if he's not running a little bit,
a little bit.
Anywhere. I mean, just like 3 or 4 times a game, something like that. Keep the defense thinking he might take off. If you're not taking off the whole game, the defense don't got to worry about you. And I think that's something that helps Dak in his past game is the fact that he's a threat to run it a few times, pick up chunk yards, maybe go.
He did it. He did it during the game.
I mean, he had 3 carries for 24.
But he didn't do it in the red zone.
He didn't do it in the red zone, but he had it was like the 3rd and 14, and he had a 15-yard run.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He needs to incorporate, I want to say 4 or 5 times a game, average. Sometimes maybe 6 or 7, sometimes 4 or 5, but somewhere in that 5 range, 5 carries a game, whether it's intentional runs, design, or whether it's just he starts scrambling early and when he sees the field open up. He just needs to have those 5, 6 runs a game. I keep going up, but about 5 or 6 runs.
Open up the offense more.
Exactly, and I think it helps.
And you all know how the West Coast offense is. It's all about execution. It's all about getting to the spot where you're supposed to be, running the routes right like you're supposed to. Making the cuts, and it didn't happen.
And to be honest, Dak is not a timing guy. He's an improvised guy. He's a guy who likes to. He's better when he's rolling out to his left, bootlegging to the right, whatever the case may be. He's a better thrower when he's doing those kinds of things.
Those type of things.
Now he can throw it in the pocket a few times, but you need to have him move around, and I just think that's part of it.
And also, get the ball out of his hands quick.
Right, get it out of his hands quick.
He has done well whenever they get the ball out of his hands quick.
If not,
the times that he's rolling, the times that he's
rolling out, scrambling a little bit.
Not looked good.
Yeah, the thing that he's not good at is moving around in the pocket. He's not good moving around. He usually moves, moves into sacks. He usually, takes too long when he's in the pocket. If he's going to be in the pocket, make a quick decision. If you're not going to go to your safety valve, just take off and run. I mean, that's what he needs to do when he's in the pocket. If he doesn't see it right away that it's not open, just take off or, get it out to your running back or whoever your safety valve is and get rid of it in the pocket if it's not there. And then, of course, he needs to roll out more and move around a little bit. I think that's part of who he is when he's at his best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And kind of like Ken said earlier, is like spread, unload the offense a little bit more, especially in the red zone.
Offense, man.
Especially in the red zone.
And the thing that bothers me, like Flo said, man, you got a decent running back like what's his name, Luke K. Use him. I mean, you got those deep threats and those. I mean, I would run more slant routes, more short passing routes, but allow Prescott, man, get the ball and move the ball down the field. And then, like I said earlier, you need a guy like I wish the guy we had Ezekiel Elliott. He's the guy that you utilize in the red zone. That's the guy you feed him that ball and he goes up the hole and he punches it in. So like I said, I think overall the game was good. What is Dan Quinn gonna do to improvise the defense? What key things will he do to tighten up the defense this week with Belichick them rolling in town? Mm-hmm. And that's like one of my big concerns.
I think with that being said, I think with that to your question, Ken, I'd say they use Micah in the middle. Don't use him on the edge.
Use him down the middle.
Because if they're gonna run right at him on the edge, that's gonna open some stuff up. If you're gonna run at Micah, run up the middle so the guys can flock to him. If they're really gonna do that strategy of let's run at Micah Parsons, stack the middle of the box. Then put Micah in the middle, make him be a disruptor.
Yeah. And I think it's early is when you need to be careful with the run.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you show that early you can stop the run, then they'll go away from it a little bit. That they won't be as likely to just keep running the ball. If you show that you're susceptible to the run, they're just going to keep pounding it. And so I think if we stop the run early, and even if you have to back off the pass rush a little bit, even if Micah has to kind of tone it down a little bit early, just so we can make sure we don't let them get their run going, because that's what I know that the Patriots on a great run team, but at the same time, I think that's what like you said, Arizona did. That's what they do to slow down Micah. But if we show early that, hey, that's not going to do it, that's not going to be the answer this game, then that they'll tend not to run the ball as much and not to try and key in on those things. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And of course, to me, the other big thing from last week was penalties.
Yeah,
penalties killed this team in big ways.
But they didn't call it both ways. I mean, to be honest.
There were some missed calls, yes. There were some missed calls.
I mean, I'm not saying we didn't commit penalties, but I mean, they missed some of their calls. I mean, call it both ways. That's all I'm saying. Be fair about it. I know they're going to miss calls here and there, but I mean, man, sometimes it seems like it's always lopsided on some of those games when when we're like big favorites. But
and it's not just with us too. It's with other teams like Kansas City started to get it a little bit more. Obviously, Miami's gotten it some. Some of these bigger name teams have gotten those calls, but I think the big one this week was I want to say the block in the back on the punt return where Turpin had that big punt return got us inside there. I want to say inside their 20, but it got called back. So that was probably the big one because that could have led to, and then of course the fourth down call where we didn't get it there either again in the red zone. So like I said, it's just basically three things. It's red zone, it was defense, and it was the penalties that killed us in that game.
For sure, the defense first, the penalties. And then the red zone, because the red zone, I mean, it was bad, but I mean, that didn't cost us the game necessarily. I think it was the fact.
What do you think the biggest thing? What do you guys think the biggest factor that cost us that game? Like honestly, where
I think the defense let us down.
Yeah,
188 yards in the first half.
Yeah, the defense let us
Arizona
down.
had 188 yards in the first half. Most of that on the ground.
I think if the defense is solid that game, like they have been the first few games. Even with the penalties and the trouble in the red zone, we win that game.
We could have won that game.
Yeah, we win that game.
Had a career day from Brandon Aubrey.
If the defense played the way it played and we don't have any penalties, we still lose that game. If the defense was the key to losing that game the way they played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. It was, and with this, with this kind of loss, people are always going to say, they're always going to blame Mike McCarthy first. And part of it was his fault, the game planning, and especially like in the red zone, like you said, and the penalties. That it starts with Mike McCarthy. It starts with the coaching game plan. But if there's one big unit that gets the blame for this, and I mean the whole team as a whole, we'll put the blame on the whole team as a whole. Nobody came ready. Nobody came ready to play last week.
Ready to play, and I think we went in underestimating, went in too relaxed, went in with our guard down against the Arizona team. Nobody believed Arizona was gonna win. Josh Dobbs, when have you ever? The last time I heard of Josh Dobbs was when he was at Tennessee. Everywhere else he's been like a backup quarterback. Stuff he played
like that. He played with the Titans, right?
Pittsburgh, I think. Pittsburgh.
He played the Tennessee game against us last year. So
I mean he's this year's Geno Smith, a guy who's kind of been a journeyman who hasn't really had much. Of course, Geno was a starter for a year or so, but he's just kind of one of those guys that got forgotten about, and he got a chance to start, and he's taking advantage of it. And he may get a contract out of it. Who knows? Maybe not with the Cardinals, but with somebody else who needs a quarterback or needs at least a backup. He's gonna get a. He's gonna get.
And the thing with
if he keeps playing like, I mean, if he beats the 49ers, I mean, if he beats
if Dobbs beats the 49ers,
if they get 7 or 8 wins, he's got a job next year with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to be a bad team.
It's not like Tennessee just up and got rid of him. They wanted to keep him. Sam told me last night they wanted to keep him in Tennessee. The problem was the cap situation with at quarterback, especially with Tannehill. Tannehill was a huge cap hit. Derrick Henry was a huge cap hit. They needed to cut some of that cap up, and unfortunately, Josh Dobbs was one of those guys that had to go, especially with them drafting a quarterback this year in what's his name, Captain Mayo. I can't even remember his name. The kid from Kentucky, Will Levis.
Levis, yeah.
Levis, yeah. And they still have Malik Willis, who he did not look bad. He did not look bad in the preseason. Who knows if they're going to use him this year? I know Sam and I talked about last night that maybe this could be it for Ryan Tannehill if he screws up again this week. So who knows what that quarterback situation is going to be here in the next few weeks. But, they wanted to keep him, but they couldn't. He got traded to Cleveland. Cleveland had him on their practice squad, and you figure Josh Dobbs is like the perfect mold to go behind a Deshaun Watson type of player. Cleveland just didn't expect that DTR was going to have the great preseason that he did. So now DTR is their backup, and so they had to figure something out with Dobbs. So I believe they just cut him, and then Arizona was like, "Hey, Dobbs is an actually decent quarterback. Colt McCoy's getting up there in the age. This guy's younger. He could be faster. Let's go get this guy. I know it's a couple weeks before the season starts.
Yeah.
But if we get a fast guy at quarterback, kind of like, a Kyler-esque type of quarterback, that could be something we could work with and kind of give us some success this year. And you've seen in all three of their games, they've either won or they've been close to winning all three of their games this year so far.
Yeah. Right. For sure.
So yeah, I mean, again, though, 9 times out of 10, Dallas wins this game.
Oh yeah,
9 times out of 10.
They're playing at home. They're playing at home in front of the home crowd, so I expect them to do well. We're banking on this. When we need to win this game, we cannot go down 2 losses and go into San Fran next Sunday night. That's a huge deal,
especially with now Philadelphia is finding a run game in DeAndre Swift.
Yeah,
you don't want them to get too far ahead of you.
Now I don't like people getting injured, but that's my only solace that he gets banged up because he tends to get banged up during the year.
I mean, Swift is injury prone, but when you've seen the holes that their offensive line has made the last couple of weeks,
to be honest, they have.
I quoted John Madden the other day. It was like, those holes were so big you could drive a Mack truck through them.
Drive a Mack truck. Yeah. Philadelphia probably does have the best offensive and defensive lines right now in the NFC as far as the way they're playing. Talent wise, maybe it's close. There's other teams that are close, but as far as the way they're playing together as a group, those two groups are playing really well right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of offensive line, one of the big things from last week's game was we had 3 new starters on the offensive line, and essentially, I mean, they did play well. Don't get me wrong. It kind of did throw off Dak's timing a little bit, but all 3 of those guys did play well in a way. It just you can't replace a Zach Martin overnight. You just can't. I mean, Tyler Biadasz has done well too, so you can't really replace any of those 2 guys overnight. But Biadasz and Martin are expected to play in this game against the Patriots, but we will be without Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith has already been ruled out for Sunday against the Patriots, so it'll be Tyler. I don't know if they're going to put Tyler at left tackle. They put him at left guard last week, which I thought was kind of questionable because he has proven that he can play left tackle when Tyron's not there.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, are they going to put him at left tackle this time? Are they going to keep him at guard? What are they going to do now that, Tyron's not going to play?
Yeah. That's definitely I mean, this has got to be his last year. I mean, you have to be thinking
it could
he's not going to
potentially,
go.
yeah, it could potentially be his last year.
I mean, he's been banged up every year for at least a handful of games, whether it's early or late, mid-season. I mean, it seems like it happens. It doesn't. It just depends. It could happen early in the season, could happen late, could happen mid-season. I mean, this just seems like he just can't stay healthy, and so this could be his last year. If anything else, maybe he comes back as a backup next year. Coming off, not giving him as many plays, he just plays kind of off the bench, kind of as our depth. But I mean, as far as a starter, I think he's done because of his health. I mean,
yeah, and it's been kind of weighing on this for like a couple years now. We've seen him, like you mentioned, Flo. He's been in and out of the lineup the last few years due to injury. I mean, don't get me wrong. This guy's a Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's been the best left tackle in football the last few years. Pretty much for the better part of a decade since he got here. So, I mean, he spent 1 year at right tackle his first year and then got moved over to left immediately. And he's just been a mainstay there ever since. So,
yep.
I mean, it's getting there. It's getting to be time for him to hang it up at this point because the injury is killing him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think he needs to go back as a fill-in, as a guy who just fills in, gives guys a breather. Get a new starter, give it to somebody, and let him come in and spell guys, as opposed to being the main starter.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you don't have to depend on him to be your mainstay at that position. You can just depend on him to be a fill-in, basically, as opposed to he's gone again, he's hurt. This way he doesn't have to play as many snaps, but he can still be valuable, as a fill-in at that position. So
there are some of these young cats that I'm excited for. That like I said, they did play fairly well in this game against Arizona. Igdoba, who got hurt in the game, he's expected to be back as well. He was limited in practice today. Martin was limited, but all these guys did practice. The only one really that did not practice that's on the injury wire was Tyron Smith. So
Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's on the agenda, Alan, so you're just gonna have to.
I mean, I'm just kind of rambling on here, just talking about the game. Obviously, we'll get into the Patriots matchup this week. Some of the things to look.
Let me ask y'all this other question, man, because this been like in my mind. Do you think they're gonna utilize Lance at all, or is he just there for?
To be honest,
first string? I mean,
I think they would if he was on roster. He's not on roster right now. He's in as the emergency quarterback. Right now, he's in as the emergency quarterback, and that's really another thing that I'm bothered, especially with Cowboy fans lately. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but immediately after that game, people were saying, "Let's put Trey Lance in there. Let's put Cooper Rush in there. Let's do Cooper Rush was playing. We would have won that game." And I'm like, guys.
I think people they overreact to stuff like that.
The defense did not play well. That was the main reason why we lost.
Well, that's the easy answer, right? Anytime we lose and Dak throws a pick late, that's the easy answer. It's Dak's fault. That was not Dak's fault. I mean, the pick was, but I mean, the losing that game was not Dak's fault. And you
saw me Wednesday night, Flo. I said I do not blame Dak Prescott for that loss.
But to be honest, Alan, that's how Cowboy fans are.
Yeah,
they blamed Romo every time, and it was not always.
They did blame Tony Romo all the time.
They blamed him all the time, even though he has probably the most fourth quarter comebacks in Cowboy history. As far as I think that's correct. But if not, he's one of the top.
He's one of the top. He's one of the top fourth quarter quarterbacks in the NFL, not just Cowboy history.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he got, and I guess that's how it is with the Cowboy quarterbacks. I mean, I go back to Danny White. He got blamed
because
a lot of times.
When you have the star on your helmet, I always say this: when you have the star on your helmet, you have higher expectations.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of what Roger did, and because of what Roger did, and because of what Troy did.
Right. That's the easy one is to blame the quarterback.
Yeah, it is.
And it also doesn't help that the owner doesn't keep his mouth shut.
Yeah. Well, and that you can't do anything about that. I mean, that's just what it is. you know.
But Flo, you gotta tell Allen what you've always told me, and what we've always came to recognize and realize, that Jerry Jones must croak out before we win a Super Bowl.
I
And
mean,
Jimmy Johnson got to get in the Ring of Honor.
They got to put him in the Ring of Honor. Jerry Jones put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Jimmy
Just
Johnson.
Stop it.
Yes.
Then we'll win the Super Bowl.
I mean,
he doesn't want to because he wants to take credit for the Super Bowl wins. It's not
that's
Jerry.
What I'm saying. That's ridiculous. Come on, Jerry.
It wasn't Jerry. I mean, Jerry had a hand in it.
Oh, Jerry had a hand in it. I mean, he got the players. He did a lot. But he was at that point when Jimmy was there. He was doing it as an owner. He was more of an owner.
You could even say that who was Gil Brandt had more input than Jerry Jones before he got let go in '89. Because you look at some of the players he brought in. I mean, Jim Jeffcoat was still there. His last first round pick was Michael Irvin in '88. Right. Yeah, that was his last first round. That was his last first round pick before Jerry took over in '89. So,
right? Yeah, no, he didn't.
In a way, Gil Brandt, Jimmy Johnson, those guys put together built that Cowboy dynasty.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Part of me says it is the curse of Jimmy Johnson, but part of me says it's just superstition. But I do think Jerry Jones needs to put him in the Ring of Honor. Whatever, curse, no curse, whatever. He should put him in there regardless. He should have put him in there this year. He should have put him in there last year. He talked about it last year that he's gonna go in the Ring of Honor.
The year he went into the Hall of Fame, he should have been in the Cowboys Ring of Honor for sure.
Just like who? What did that happen? Who that happened to? Just recently.
Wasn't it Gil Brandt?
No,
or was it
this past year? DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah.
He went in the Hall of Fame, and what happened? Jimmy Johnson puts him in the Ring of Honor. Say he's going to be putting. He should have done that. That's how he should have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
You just gotta put him in.
Anyway, I'm done with Jerry Jones. I try not to talk about Jerry Jones.
I'm not saying Jerry can't scout talent because look at the guys that he's brought in the last few years. I mean,
the mainstream media talks about him too much. He likes to talk about himself. The only thing I'll give Jerry Jones credit for is that he does make good deals trying to bring players in, and he's pretty good at the draft. But other than that, he needs to stay out of football.
I will say this though: they lucked into Micah Parsons. They lucked into Michael Parsons because they wanted originally to go get the guy from that's in Denver right now, the cornerback from Denver.
Surtain?
Yeah, Pat Surtain. They wanted to draft Pat Surtain at 10, but Denver, because they thought Denver was going to take Justin Fields, so they wanted originally. They were going to go either.
I wanted Asante Samuels Jr. That's who I wanted.
They wanted to go.
He was there after. He was there later.
They wanted to go Pat Surtain because he was, Diggs' teammate at Alabama, or if they couldn't get Surtain, go get J.C. Horn. But Panthers drafted J.C. Horn at 8, the pick before.
However they did it, I'm glad it happened. But
then
for the most part, the
reason why they traded back is because Philly wanted Devontae Smith and they wanted to screw the Eagles, or the Giants. So they traded back. They traded with the Eagles and ended up landing Micah Parsons at 12.
What's the Georgia guy? Nolan Smith?
Yeah. And he fell to Philly at 31. We
should have took him in the first round, to be honest.
I
like Mozzie Smith, and he offers some he does offer some help in the line. But what can you think about if we had him and Micah? Come on.
I said this Wednesday. I said this Wednesday on the NFC South show. I blame the Falcons and the Panthers for allowing Philadelphia to draft Jalen Carter at number 9.
But the Falcons, here's the thing: the Falcons never draft their own. I'm not the Falcons. They never draft their own, which I mean, like Georgia players. They never get good players from Georgia at all.
And there's so many.
Yeah,
that's what baffled me because correct me if I'm wrong. They needed. Before they made the move to go get what's his name that came over from Baltimore, Calais Campbell. Before they went and got Calais Campbell, they needed defensive tackle help to go with Grady Jarrett, and it's like Jalen Carter's sitting right there. and then they draft Bijan, and then they're like, "Did you really need a running back? I know Bijan's a generational talent, but did you really need a running back?"
No, they didn't. I mean, like I said, like you said, he's a great talent. They're gonna benefit from him, but they could have benefited more from getting him at.
They got Algier. They got Algier the running back, so they should have got that.
They didn't need him, like you said, they didn't need him.
The copy of the script says all the good Georgia players have to go to Philadelphia now.
That's where they go. That's where they go. Man.
Like half their defense is all Georgia players, if I'm not mistaken, because it's got what Carter, it's Nolan Smith, it's Kobe Dean.
Hey, and I didn't I tell you we were in the draft. Remember, we were in the draft, and I wanted Achane. Achane. I wanted him, whatever I think he goes by Achane, but
yeah,
I said they need to draft Achane, and they didn't take him, and then we got Deuce Vaughn. He may be productive in the future, but he's not going to help us now. But Achane could have helped us this year.
I mean, you see what he's doing in Miami
right now. I wanted him bad. I was like, come on, draft Achane, please. And the whole draft, I was like, take him. No, and they didn't take him. I was like, oh my gosh. And then we finally got when did Deuce go in like the sixth round?
Sixth round, yeah.
Yeah, they finally took a running back. I was like, they were frustrating me in the draft too with those. I don't know. Anyway, what do you got, Alan?
I mean, some of those picks, you mean they've been okay. I haven't seen much of Mozzie so far.
He's been okay.
Shoemaker's only had a couple catches. He's only been in a couple times. Obviously, Overshawn's been hurt.
I mean,
otherwise, I think he would be. Otherwise, I think Overshawn's the starting middle linebacker.
If Overshawn was there, I mean, is he coming back? Can he come back this year, or is he done for the year?
I think if we make the playoffs, he can. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But he's on target to come.
Yeah, Overshawn would have been awesome if we had Overshawn and Diggs. Man, we might have beat him. We might have beat the Giants 60-0. I mean. It was that was a big loss.
We'll say one thing before we move on to next week's game. If there's one guy, I know Lipke's one of those guys we should utilize. I think another guy. I think another guy that I think would do well in those red zone situations that has already shown that he's done well. Rico Dowdle. Dowdle got the only red zone touchdown, I believe, other than maybe Ferguson.
And you know what it feels like? It feels like Rico gets better the more touches he gets. Like he's one of those guys. The more touches he gets, the better he gets. Like the stronger he gets, the more in the flow of the offense he gets. And I think we should. I wouldn't mind splitting time with him and Pollard.
I mean, you get in those third and shorts. Give Dowdle an opportunity. Put him right behind Hunter Lipke.
You got something, Canteen? You should look like wanting to say something.
No. I was listening to what you were saying about Dowdle, and like I said, utilize Luke or whatever, the kid from North Dakota State, man. Use him, the running back.
Yeah, they need use. He's a fullback basically, but I mean, use him down there in the
and then with Vaughn, split time between him and Turpin returning punts. Use Deuce Vaughn, get him out in space.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what they're doing with Turpin in the offense. They're using him as kind of a running back, just to get him some touches and get him out.
Maybe Vaughn just isn't comfortable yet in the offense where Turpin was there last year, so maybe he's still getting kind of comfortable with the offense. But I think eventually Vaughn takes over for Turpin. Turpin has kind of disappointed me. He had that one kickoff return in preseason last year, and he hasn't done a whole lot. I mean, to me, he hasn't returned. I think he had one or two kind of big returns, but he hasn't really had a game-changing return. And I expected more out of Turpin, but I don't know.
I think as the season goes on, you're going to start to see. I think you'll start to see Dowdle get the ball a little bit more. I think you'll see Vaughn get used more in special teams, especially with his speed that he has, his quickness.
And hopefully, Lukey too.
Lukey's going to be. I think they're going to start using. I don't think it'll be this week, but I think in the weeks to come, I think they're going to use Lipke as like a single back, like have him
almost use him. Have him
five back behind Dak and have him actually take the handoff in the backfield.
Yeah, because he's got good hands.
Yeah,
he's almost like he
looks like a fullback. He had his first carry and his first catch, and both of them were first downs.
Yeah, I mean, get it, mix it up. Why not get these guys in there?
All the weapons to do it, man. All the weapons and the people to do it, man.
And it seems like, I mean, I don't know if you all agree with me on this. It seems like they tried to use everybody in the offense but CeeDee Lamb this past weekend. Because
Well,
Lamb only had 3 catches, right?
And that's what Belichick's going to do. He's going to take away CD. He's going to
See, I
him
keep
down.
being told, and this is what the Patriot guys are telling me. They're saying that Belichick's going to focus on taking out Tony Pollard. Which, if they try to take out Tony Pollard, then that means CeeDee Lamb should have a big game.
I think he takes out CD, but maybe they're right. I don't know. I mean, because
I do like. I will say this. I do like Christian Watson a lot. I think so far he's the defensive rookie of the year. Christian Watson. I think he's played great. He held Tyreek to 2 catches against Miami. So
yeah.
So I like him. I think from what Scott told me yesterday on Wednesday, he does follow. So he might be following CeeDee Lamb. So we might have to utilize the other guys. But I think it will be a really tough test for the young rookie. Is a great route runner like a CeeDee Lamb that can get open. So this will be an interesting. This will be probably one of the more interesting battles on Sunday.
Yeah,
the 1-on-1 battle between him and Watson.
Yeah, him and Gonzalez, Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez. Sorry.
So let's get into that game. Sunday afternoon, I should say. Patriots come into town. Zeke comes back home. I believe that if what I heard is correct, they're going to actually honor Zeke at that game. Or Jerry's saying that they're going to honor Zeke at that game. Yeah. So how are you guys feeling about? I know, Canteen, you said you were nervous about this game this week, even before the Arizona game. What were we feeling as far as this matchup with New England?
Man, New England 1-2. They lost to the Bills. Who they lost to?
You're feeling nervous.
Bills and Dolphins.
Bills. So they've lost 2 division. They lost 2 division games, right? And they beat the Jets Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, almost lost it on that Hail Mary at the end, but
yeah. Man, I am nervous, man, and the reason I keep saying this, man, is that I'd rather take an L this week or a win. I'd rather take a win. I would have rather won last week, win this week, and roll into the 49ers. Hitting strong, ready to beat them, but I believe we'll be fine as long as Dan Quinn has a good defensive scheme. I think we'll be fine. I don't really see too many of the weapons that they have on the Patriots. I don't really know too many of their offensive weapons, and as
really
earlier,
the main guy that they have that's been doing well for them offensively has been really Kendrick Bourne. That's really it.
Yeah, because
they don't really have many guys to pass to, or not guys you would expect. I mean, he tries to spread it over. I don't even know if Juju's going to be playing in this game because he's been banged up a little bit. Right. Ramondre hasn't really gotten going yet as far as running the ball. Zeke has been kind of meh so far to start the year. They don't really have an explosive. They don't have that guy that can take you over the top. I mean, Bourne did that a couple years ago, but he really isn't the same player that he was. They really don't. They really don't have that guy that can take over the top.
No weapons, no offensive weapons that can take them the distance.
So I think you could potentially see on defensively. You could see them play like they did against the Giants and the Jets, stack the box, stop the run, and make Mac Jones beat them.
Yeah.
And Mac Jones isn't a runner either, so it'll be he's going to have to get rid of the ball quick because otherwise the defensive line's going to be in his face all day.
Well, let me say this, in the last game, and I know that Scott called us out, the Cowboy fans, the last game, but Mac Jones hit Sauce Gardner in the junk, cheap shot. I hope somebody lays out Mac Jones for doing that. That's pretty cheap. That's Bush League. He should have never done that. He says, and then he avoids a question, like, when they ask him about it, he just avoids the question. That's weak. That's coward. Someone needs to knock him on his butt this week. I hope they do, because that's weak to come up. He's done that more than once. He did it when he kicked. I can't remember who he kicked in the junk too. He's done that a few times, and that's just I don't like that. You shouldn't do that. He should have got suspended at least one of those times, or some kind of something, a fine or something. He's done that more than a couple of times, hitting people in the junk, and so I don't like that. I don't appreciate it. So I hope somebody knocks him on his butt a couple of times.
I mean, I'm sure they will. I mean, with Micah playing how mad he is potentially because of what happened last week. I mean, Micah did get a sack, but with how mad he is, with how mad that defense is, they're going to be swarming him all game long. I think the Patriots can still make a few plays here and there, but I think the defense is going to be. I think the defense is going to be more than ready to play this game this week. Although gotta hide your signals, of course, because Belichick's coming to town.
Right. Absolutely.
Gotta fire that new maintenance guy that they just brought in this week. That new maintenance guy is hard at work. Why is he keep?
Like I said, I don't think it'll be a shootout. I think it'll be a close game, man. I can give you my projection right now.
I was gonna say I think it'll be close too, but I think our defense will make more plays. I feel.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to see offensively from the Cowboys this week?
Kind of the same stuff I caveated on earlier, man. Like utilize Luke K, open up the run game, be able to do short slants, let Zeke roll out to the left, right, and throw passes or whatever. But Zeke has to be able to run the ball, man. I mean, the last game he had three carries for 20. Come on, man, you got to do more than that for a guy of his caliber. He has to do more than 3 carries for 24 yards to open up the offense. That's me. I mean, if I had to rank our offense on a scale from 1 to 10, we're 7, a low 7 right now. We just do enough to maintain.
Mm-hmm. Did you say what do you want to see from our offense or just from the team?
Yeah, well, offense really, and just in general.
Well, I mean, I want to see Dak move around more. I want to see him run a couple of times. I want to see him get about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 this time, just to kind of push it a little bit and get him out there a little more. Whether it's design runs, whether it's take that, you don't see it, take off. If it's there, take off. Those kind of runs, whether he's rolling out or whatever the case. I want to see him move the pocket a little bit. I want to see him move around more, and establish Dak as a potential threat to run the ball. That's what I want to see, and I think that'll open up the offense a little more. And I think, to be honest, I mean, Dak just plays better when he's running the ball. He just feels more comfortable. He did it all at Mississippi State. He ran all over the place. He ran a lot more there. I don't think he needs to run that. But what I'm saying is he feels more comfortable when he's running around, moving. It just opens up his game. It just makes him feel comfortable. He just gets in the flow a lot when he's running. I just want to see Dak run the ball more, whether he 5 or 6 times, and then get a few more rollouts and bootlegs and that kind of thing, just to get him moving around and get him using his legs a little more.
I'll lay it. Guy on Facebook. I can't
Elias.
say it. Elias.
That's my brother. It's Elias. Yeah, he's my son-in-law.
He's healthy. He's been
practicing
this week. So
he just said they were going to the Super Bowl. Saints to the Super Bowl. So
no, not against Philadelphia. Hell no.
Carr hurt.
Carr hurt.
He said
here's the thing: we don't know if he's actually playing. He hasn't been. They haven't said anything about him playing.
We don't know if he's playing.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about them saying.
Isn't it today? Don't they have to turn in the roster today on Friday?
I think so. I think so. We'll have to wait and see, because if he doesn't, because he might be GTD, game time decision, for that game. Okay. I don't even know who they're playing this week.
I don't either. Who are they playing?
I want to say it's Tampa. They're hosting Tampa at home. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They don't get beat.
Famous Jameis against Baker Mayfield. Ain't that going to be a game?
Right, against his old team.
Yeah.
Baker versus Jameis.
Jameis Winston.
Baker cooking Jameis cookies. Baker Jameis cookies.
All right, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'm good. Go ahead. I'm just messing around. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll
What you
say
got?
this before we end off. Let's go ahead and give our overall what we feel this game is going to be. As far as how we think this game is going to go, and give our score predictions. Whoever wants to go first can go first.
Go ahead, Ken. I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna go last.
Yeah, so I think it'll be an overall defensive battle. I mean, as you said, man, New England ain't really got much to put up against us. I think our defense is going to have a field day. We're going to do well on defense. As we said earlier, I think hopefully we see the opportunity for Zeke to open up the offense a little more, let him run the ball more, let him, use his offensive weapons and that nature. I really feel good about us. I'm nervous, but I feel good. I think we're going to take it. We're going to edge them out at home, a home crowd. Patriots coming back into town. I'm going to go 24-10. 24-10, Dallas.
Okay. Dallas. So you were nervous, but your score doesn't sound like you're nervous. Are you being overconfident?
They may pull away. I think he's saying they'll pull away at the end, but it's going to be close throughout it.
It'll be tight until the.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I feel about the game, man.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to go or you going to go, Alan?
I mean, you can go if you want.
Okay. Well.
My mind's telling me no, but my body telling me yeah.
We're gonna blow these boys out. We're gonna take these boys. We're gonna make them look ugly. We're gonna sack Mac Jones like 3 or 4 times. Dak's gonna have like 300 yards. He might throw a pick, but he's gonna have like 2 or 3 touchdowns. He's gonna run one in. We're gonna take care of these boys today. Don't be nervous. This is the game we get right. We go into 49ers, and it's gonna be a good game, but we go in with some confidence. Our defense shows out, gets about 2 or 3 turnovers. I just couldn't help myself.
Telling me no.
But woo! It's coming, baby. This is the game we get right. Get all those haters like Scott and all those Cowboy haters and show them who we are. That's what I feel. Come at me.
To play off of Flo's point, what score? What score?
34-16. 34-16.
To play off of Flo's point, you guys remember last year when we went to Lambeau and lost that game to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, which essentially saved their season.
Right.
They came back the next week. They played at Minnesota. What happened in that Minnesota game? 40-3. They came out with a vengeance after that loss. It seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, it seems like the last couple years, every time the Cowboys have a disappointing loss, they come back the next week and they play angry. They dominate. They play angry. They play motivated. They play on point. I think we're going to say the same thing this week. I think New England will keep it close early on. But I think, like Canteen said, I think they pull away at the end. I put this at a 10-point game yesterday. I said 27-17.
Let's go.
I said 27-17 Dallas.
Man, come on. You held back. You let your mind control you. Let your body control you.
It could get ugly. I'm going to say 27-17, but I think it could get ugly. It could get very ugly.
It's going to get ugly. And they're going to score 16, maybe 19 points, but it'll be late. It'll be garbage time. It'll be over by the end of the third quarter. It'll be over.
At least it will be one of the 2 0-3 games that are happening this week. 2 games where both teams are 0-3. So the Denver at Chicago, Minnesota at Carolina.
All 0-3. Carolina as well.
Mm-hmm.
You like that? You like that sound effect, Kenton?
But gentlemen,
hey, you got to play Jake's song, man.
Why?
The careless whisper.
Oh.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Sorry, Broncos, 70-20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Woo! All your hot takes.
Yeah, hot take, Jake. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So you feel like it could get out of hand, but then you give me a little conservative score, Alan. What's up with that?
I think it could go either way. I think it could go
Okay.
either way, but
It could get
I'm expecting this team to
So I'm the
play
blowout.
bad.
Canteen's kind of like a little bit of a blowout, and then you're like in the middle.
I'm
You're like balancing us.
I'm expecting them to play mad this game, so it could get ugly.
That's
It
what
could
I
very
think.
well
I
get
think they're going
ugly.
to play upset. The defense is going to come back and say, "Man, we are who we thought we were. We are who we thought we were."
Oh, you talking
Let's
about
go.
Dennis? What's his name?
Go.
What's that coach
You know what
name that did
happened?
it?
Denny Green.
Denny Green.
Yeah.
Denny Green. We are who they thought we were.
I will say this. I will say this before we end off. This isn't NFL related, but Rangers clinched the AL West tonight.
Oh,
They
wow.
Rangers clinched the AL West tonight.
What about that, Rios?
Astros have to play the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are fighting for their playoff lives. And
so
after
can they
the
still get
upsetting,
eliminated? Didn't you put that out? Astros might not make the playoffs.
they potentially could not. Everything
Okay,
has to
let's
fall.
go.
Everything has to fall into place. But if we went out over Seattle, we knocked them out. So
we went out over Seattle. So we already clinched the West.
No, we have to win tonight. If they win tonight, if they win tonight, and the Astros lose, we win the West.
Oh, okay. If we win and they lose, we clinch it.
So, yeah, because I think we're 2 games ahead of them.
Yeah,
I want to
look good about a month ago. It was looking pretty bleak for us.
Yeah, but yeah, it has to. They have to.
Hey, and
after the upset from yesterday, I mean, I think they're gonna want to clinch it tonight. So I think they clinch it tonight.
There's 2 people. I'm here and Alan's up there. It's 2 of us, not one person.
We got
2 of us. Cowboy Nation, baby. The only place we separate is we're talking about college football. But
Boomer Sooner.
Guns up, baby.
I don't even think we play all this year, which is kind of upsetting.
You don't.
No, that's kind of upsetting. Oh well.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, where can the people find you guys at? What you guys got coming up this week?
All right, Alan, appreciate you so much. So this weekend, Ball and Budge is going to be doing a UFC with Clubber D. It's going to be Omar's part of the Bottom Line Sports family. Omar and Clubber D's the Combat G. They're going to be talking about the fight coming up with Canelo and Charlo Saturday at 6 p.m. It'll be on his Ball and Budge Sports Entertainment. It'll also be on the Bottom Line Sports channel. And also, we come on every Sunday at 6:30 Central. We talk nothing but NFL. We're switch that show to nothing but NFL. We wrap up all the games. We touch on Sunday Night Football, and we talk about everything coming up, making predictions for next week. And then I think we're gonna go with Tuesdays. Omar just got a job. We're gonna go Mondays, but we might go Tuesdays evenings as our regular sports show where we talk about different sports and baseball and basketball and all that. But that's where we're at, 6:30 on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at The Bottom Line Sports on all your platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. And we come on 6:30 p.m. on Sundays and 6 p.m. on Tuesdays evenings, Central Times. Me, Omar, hot take, Jake.
As for me, normally I would be on the Sunday night post game show, but I will not be this week unless I somehow am not exhausted from this wedding stuff this weekend.
Right. Congratulations.
I also have to be up early in the morning, so I probably will not be there.
Right.
On Sunday night, but
you
Tuesday
jobs next weekend. You switch jobs.
Monday.
Yeah. Oh, so next Saturday we're gonna be doing it later, right?
Probably. Yeah, next Saturday this show will be at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on Saturday. So
3 or 4? I
3
thought we were doing
Central.
4 Central.
3 Central, if that's okay. If not, it can be 4.
Okay. What's good with you, Ken? I know you got something going on Saturdays.
Nah, I'm good, man.
So 4 Eastern's good?
I changed my work schedule to early in the morning.
Okay, so 4 is good for you?
Yeah, 4.
Okay. All right, let's do it. 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
next Saturday.
4 p.m. Central or 4 p.m. Eastern?
Eastern. Yeah.
Eastern.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
So,
Yeah, 3 p.m.
so
Central.
next Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, this show will take place once again. We'll recap the Patriots game, and we'll get ready for the big matchup on Sunday Night Football next week against the
go.
49ers.
That's gonna be a big one.
Next Tuesday is the baseball show. We'll be talking playoff baseball. Finally, the regular season will be over by Sunday, so we'll finally get to talk about some playoff baseball. Hopefully, the Rangers are a part of that. Like I said, but I really do think that they're going to win the West tonight. So, holla up for that. Wednesday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, the NFC South Roundtable. I am hosting that with our NFC South guys as well. And then 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays is the NFC East Roundtable. Hopefully Carlos doesn't go off like he did last Wednesday, because my God, that was
It was totally depressing.
He was all over the place, man. I'm telling you, it was crazy.
You got to reel him in. You got to reel him in, Alan. Say, okay, let's go to something else. You got to reel him in.
Yeah. Got to reel him in.
Be the host. Be the host. You know.
But yeah, guys. But other than that, check out everybody else here on. Check out everybody else here on Let's Talk Sports. Everybody does such a great job of putting this content together. But most of all, most importantly, shout out to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Dan Harris.
How's
All
he
that
doing,
he's
Flo?
done for putting this great community together. So
How's he doing, Flo? He's doing well.
He's not doing good. He's doing bad. He's not.
Yeah.
He's hurting. He's in a lot
definitely,
of pain.
send your prayers to Dan. Send your prayers
Yeah.
to the LTS community. It's been rough. So
Yeah, he's not doing well.
Also, Sunday on October 1st, Tanner is going to have some announcements on Sunday as far as LTS is concerned. So keep an eye out for that coming on Sunday. So, yeah, definitely a lot of good things happening. A lot of great things are going to be happening. So we're going to make this one of the, the greatest community we could possibly be. We're going to do our best to do this all in Dan's honor for sure. So shout out to Dan Harris. Shout out to Tanner as well. Shout out to the Ryan for all that they've done, and everybody else here on the Let's Talk Sports community. And anything else, gentlemen, before we hand off here?
That's it.
That's it, brothers.
That's it, man. Hey, and how about them Dolphins? I mean, them Broncos. It's all right, Jake. Oh, I should have put this. Hold on.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, you got to see what he's about to do, man.
Oh, the bag. Is it the bag? Is it the bag?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Let's ride.
That's right.
Oh, Lord. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night.
All right, man.
We'll see you guys next Saturday for another episode of Let's Talk Dallas Cowboys. And oh, by the way, how about them Cowboys?
The boys.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, we'll see you.
Later.